Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Zayne, and on this channel I react to videos that interest me. So if that sounds like your thing, please subscribe to this channel right now. Right now. Click on that subscribe button. It won't take you but a second, and it's free. And make sure you give this video a big thumbs up because I already know you're going to enjoy it. So today I have another reaction for you guys, and I'm super excited about it, as usual. Let's get into it.
If we're looking at the Fragility Forum, we are looking at conflicts that are all over the world. As an artist who is very engaged with the world, what particular situation that's fragile, involving conflict or violence, is in your mind right now, top of mind, that you want to share with us and your perspective of what is happening?
I think maybe the two things. I think the first would be the Palestinian people. I just find it now almost
shout out. That was a great question, by the way, but I think they had to have great questions because that's what the forum is about, according to what the lady journalist said. But shout out to Chimamanda. This is why I just think most times, but whenever I listen to her, I think she's usually on point because she says the truth as she sees it, and she doesn't shy away from certain issues that many other people actually shy away from because they're afraid of being cancelled or they're afraid of losing their popularity, etc., etc., etc. Everybody wants to be politically correct, whatever. And you know, it's understandable, everybody do your thing, but I just appreciate it when a person, especially somebody who is a public figure, is not afraid to speak the truth, especially when there is oppression going on. And if it's in your neighborhood, i.e. if you are known for talking about international issues, if you're known for talking about, you know, social ills, and you're known for talking about social justice, then you should not be afraid to talk about a situation where there is clearly injustice. So shout out. I will try not to interrupt too much during the speech because I know we're going to benefit a lot from what she's going to say, so you don't need much of my input, but I just wanted to say this right now. Shout out to her for saying that.
Bearable to watch the news or even to read about what's happening there, because it just seems to me deeply immoral that people who are barricaded in a very tiny area are just being bombarded. You know, human beings, civilians, children. I find it deeply, deeply affecting. It's just actually, and you know, I was reading yesterday about the writers who have died. And of course everybody matters, but I remember thinking, so now even the people who will tell the story are gone. You know, the Palestinian writers who've died. And so that is very much on my mind, especially thinking about children. I find that the older I get, the more unbearable for me it is to think about a child being hurt. And the other thing I would say is, in Nigeria right now, there's just so much hunger. And obviously that's different from being bombarded, but there's something about not being able to eat that I also find deeply immoral, by which I mean that you have a government that has taken decisions that ultimately translates to people being so hungry that their dignity is gone. And that just utterly breaks my heart, and it's going on now in Nigeria. Actually, yesterday and today, people have been protesting. Yeah, and there's just something, you know, sometimes you just think, what the hell is going on with the world, right? There's just...
the world, like I always say, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. That's what.
Way I tell a story. I think maybe I'm very interested in truth, but for me, truth is not... and I like to make a distinction between fact and truth. And so when I was writing Half of a Yellow Sun, for example, I would often say to people, I know the facts because I've read everything published about this war, but now I want the truths. I want the sort of textured things. And so I think telling stories about, you know, and often, yeah, I mean, I'm also very resistant to romanticizing things, even though there's a very strong streak in me that wants to romanticize. Because, you know, I love love. I'm actually just hope there's a part of me that's just hopelessly, why can't we all love each other? But then there's the other part of me that I sort of like to call the real politics side of me. And I want in my storytelling to merge both. And so, in other words, if one writes about somebody who's done something really remarkable and good, it doesn't necessarily mean that that person is perfect, because we're all flawed. And I'm interested in that. And I think maybe that's what people, I hope maybe that's what people kind of respond to. I don't like purity. I don't trust it. And I also don't trust perfection.
Because that's not the way the world is.
So I have seen storytellers who have gone around the world. They've spoken in displaced people's camps. They've encouraged young people to tell stories, to draw pictures. It's genuinely used as a tool.
Yeah. Oh, of course it is. I mean, therapists will tell you all the time that even your ability to tell yourself your own story is important. How you tell yourself your own story. Which is why I think there are many people all over the world who are told to look in a mirror and say, I am great. I mean, that doesn't work for me, but I appreciate that it works for some people. But no, I think it's also that we need to... even just the idea of going around asking people to tell stories and draw pictures, I think it's also a way of giving people dignity. And I think that's so important. Saying to people, what you've experienced matters. And what you've experienced isn't necessarily the same thing that somebody else has experienced. I mean, I'm really interested in, this is the other thing, just thinking about storytelling, in the sort of, in multiple perspectives. I've found that people who read fiction, and I wish more people would, and I'm not just saying this because I write fiction, but I mean, there is that. I think if you read fiction, you start to know that your perspective is not the only perspective.
Yeah.
And it's so important.
Yeah.
Right? That people say that you don't stand in one place to look at a masquerade. So people, you sort of stand in different places to see it in a sort of holistic way. And it's so important to think about conflict in that way as well. People understand things differently. People remember things differently, and so for me, I'm always really interested in that. If I read something in the news, I'm thinking I want to read about it from the other point of view. It really just, it helps you understand. And as a storyteller, even if you don't use those facts in the story itself, it informs the writing, right? It just brings a particular quality to the way that you tell the story.
That is so true. So true. Especially the part about how you tell your story. I heard from someone, a therapist once, who said that people who have experienced trauma in childhood, one of the ways in which you can know if you will pass down that trauma to your children or not is how you tell the story of what happened to you. So people who romanticize, just going off of what she said, people who romanticize what happened in their childhood, even though they experienced abuse and pain and trauma, but people romanticize it. And they romanticize the figures who they are loyal to, they have familial love to, and filial piety towards, and all of that. That is natural. But who still romanticize the relationship in and of itself, even though the relationship was clearly deeply flawed, which is why they're in therapy. People like that end up many times not healing and end up passing on that trauma to their children, i.e. they end up traumatizing their children as well. And the people who were able to break free of that trauma cycle, who were able to heal fast, and who were able to not end up traumatizing their children, but who ended up becoming amazing parents to their children, as opposed to the kinds of parents they had, were people who were able to say, you know what, I still feel loyal to these figures. I still feel a sense of love and just attachment towards them because of who they are in my life. But this is the reality of what happened to me. This is the reality. It happened, and they don't romanticize it. They say the truth. They say it as they experienced it, and they accept that their experience of things matter, and that there's no need for them to lie to themselves about certain experiences, right? And they're able to separate their experiences from like their traumatic experiences and all of that, their experience of abuse and all that, they're able to separate those memories and those experiences from the other side of things, which is how they feel about those figures, right? Which is how like they still have certain form feelings of love and affection and loyalty towards those people. Those people are more able to see things as they are, and they are, it's just an indication that they've healed, they're healing, and that they won't end up traumatizing the next generation. So I just wanted to go off of what she said. So storytelling is extremely important, and I do agree with her. I feel I wish more people would read fiction. But anyway, I just wanted to go back to my original point, the first thing she said, which is just the injustice, and hopefully one of these days there will be world peace. I'm still holding on to that hope. World peace. Alright, thank you so much guys for watching this video till the very end. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you are so inclined. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe right now. Right now. Do not waste another second. It will only take about a second. Wow, that rhymed. And it's free. And make sure you give this video a big thumbs up because it encourages me and it helps other people see it. Thank you so much once again, and I will see you next time.